All righty. Looks like we've got a fair number of folks already logged in. Good morning to everyone. My name is David Gornet. I'd like to welcome you all to the Fort Bend Chamber of Commerce Infrastructure Division webinar. I want to thank you all for taking the time to participate in today's event. I am with Jacobs Engineering, and I'm also the Infrastructure Planning Division Chair for the Fort Bend Chamber. The Fort Bend Chamber is the only 5-star accredited chamber in the greater Houston region. It is the advocate for excellence in Fort Bend County and beyond, and the chamber serves both our business partners as well as the community. Today, we're pleased to have a number of sponsors for the event. We have Aguirre & Fields that will be represented by Rick Carl, Costello Inc., represented by Tricia Frederick, Othon Inc., represented by Delvin Dennis, and Trans Systems Corporation, represented by Tanya Lindquist. Our sponsors are going to have an opportunity to introduce themselves, and we'll start with Rick Carl from Aguirre & Fields. Rick. Are you muted, Rick?
Thank you, David. Sorry about the mute. Good morning. We are Aguirre & Fields, located here in Fort Bend County, and we are excited to be here. Definitely looking forward to Ms. Paul's presentation. As a resident and someone who lives and works here in Fort Bend County, definitely looking forward to what Ms. Paul has to say. So I do also want to thank TxDOT and all those that were involved in the I-69 project. It's been a huge relief of congestion here in Fort Bend County. So thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Now, Ms. Tricia Frederick with Costello Inc. Would you care to welcome her?
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Tricia Frederick, and I've had the pleasure to serve on the Chamber's Board of Directors for the past couple of years. And I would like to welcome Ms. Eliza Paul. We truly appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today. A little bit about Costello. We are a civil engineering and surveying firm with offices in Houston and Austin. We've been around for nearly 30 years. We work on infrastructure projects, on transportation, land development, and public works. And I do lead the utility engineering department at Costello. So this has been an exciting time working for TxDOT, because even though we're in the middle of a pandemic, we've been very fortunate at keeping our staff busy and working on TxDOT projects across the state. And so I certainly do look forward to our discussion today and learning more about updates with TxDOT. Thanks.
Thank you, Tricia, and thank you and Costello for your support of the Chamber. Delvin.
Yes, David. Delvin Dennis. And this event marks the unveiling of Othon's new logo. So we're now Othon Engineering. That's what we always were. We got rid of the ink. So Othon Engineering. We're proud to participate as a sponsor for this event. You know, in my years as TxDOT deputy and district engineer, I always enjoyed and look forward to participating in the Fort Bend Chamber events. I made many presentations to them. But I've got to say, this is my first Zoom experience with the Chamber. So enjoy the meeting, take in Eliza's comments, and we look forward to the information you're going to share with us this morning, Eliza.
Thank you, Delvin, and thank you and Othon Engineering's sponsorship of this event.
There you go.
And then Tanya with Trans Systems, would you like to speak?
Hi, good morning. My name is Tanya Lindquist, and I lead the highway division in our Houston office. And we've got 2 offices here in Texas, 25 across the country. And we've got a Houston office and a Fort Worth office. So we do a lot of work with TxDOT. So we look forward to hearing Miss Eliza Paul talk about what's happening in the Houston district. And Rick, it was great to see you because we worked together on that I-69 project, and I'm happy to see the congestion start to go down in that area. So thank you.
Thank you, Tanya, and thank you for Trans Systems support. I see Rick there is at his office. I guess Tom and I are both a half mile away from you, Rick. We could have all got together there in your office and done this at once. But thank you to all of our sponsors for your continued support of the Chamber's Infrastructure Planning Division as we look forward to hosting additional events in this year and years coming. Before we introduce Ms. Paul, I would like to remind everyone of the chat feature. When you move your mouse at the bottom of the screen, the little chat box will show up across the bar at the bottom. You can type in your questions for Ms. Paul at that location, and we will ask them of her after she finishes and concludes her presentation. Ms. Eliza Paul is the district engineer for TxDOT's Houston District. She is responsible for overseeing the planning, design, construction, operation, and maintenance of the state transportation system within the 6 counties of the district. Ms. Paul earned her Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering from the Imperial College of Science and Technology in London in 1984, and her Master of Science in Civil Engineering from the University of Houston in 1988. She began her career with TxDOT as an engineering assistant in the district laboratory in 1989. During her career, she has worked on many important projects, including playing a key role in the oversight of the $750 million reconstruction of I-10, the Katy Freeway. Ms. Paul was promoted to Director of Construction in the Houston District in 2013, where she oversaw all of the construction, promoted again to Deputy District Engineer in 2015, and most recently to District Engineer, her current title, in November of 2019. Ms. Paul, we are very pleased to have you with us here today. I look forward to your presentation. Let's get going.
Thank you. Thank you very much, David. Good morning, everyone. I want to just thank everybody for inviting me to speak at this meeting this morning. And I'll try and give you a little bit of overview of what projects that we are doing in the Houston region, and also concentrate on some of the other specific projects that you all have ongoing in Fort Bend County currently, and what we're planning for in the area in future also. So with all that being said, can we have the slides, please? The next slides, please. Okay, just to start off with, I think everybody have heard what the mission of TxDOT is. The TxDOT, our current mission is connecting you with Texas. So that means a lot of things. That means connecting you and your family through driving vehicles, you know, around the entire states and also further to other states. That could mean connecting you nowadays in the current environment, you know, riding your bicycle from one road to another area, and also some of the pedestrian elements that we're talking about. The other thing that connecting you with Texas, we're also working with Metro, our transit agency, to try and work together to progress some of the work that is in our joint corridor together. So the other thing that I want to let everybody know, and I think everybody in this room is probably aware of too, currently TxDOT is working on our largest project plan in its history. The dollar amount and the sum of money that was provided to us through Prop 1 and Prop 7 in the last couple of legislative sessions has enabled TxDOT to have the additional funding that we can progress with our current program. This is the biggest program that I or anybody else previously before me have had. You know, we're consistently lending over $1 billion every year, and it's the entire state. We are lending about $600 million consistently, you know, throughout the entire state. So next slide, please. One more, please. So just a little bit about Houston. I think you're all familiar with us, but it doesn't hurt to just go over what the Houston district is. We plan, design, build, operate, and maintain the state transportation system in the 6 counties surrounding area, Harris County and all the other surrounding counties. So, and Fort Bend is definitely one of them. And it encompasses 6,000 square miles. It serves about 6.8 million people, almost 7 million people now. And every day, the number of people moving into Houston is increasing also. We have approximately about 5.5 million registered vehicles. So that looks like almost every single grown adult have at least 1 vehicle or not more, you know, the statistics showing. And current FTE count, that's our full-time employee in the Houston district, is approximately 1,200. Raquel wants to round it up, but we actually right now is at 1,147 is our current FTE number. So it's a little bit lower than 1,200. So we have 7 area offices and 9 different maintenance offices. We've got 3 area offices in Harris County, and we've got 1 in each of the other county except Waller County. So, and we also operate the Galveston Bolivar ferry service, which is a huge undertaking because it's a 24-hour operation continuously, weekends, holidays, it never stops. You know, that's a process that ongoing continuously. You know, so the only time we may stop a little bit was just recently during the hurricane when the tide level is a little bit too high. We may shut down for a couple of hours and then we'll reopen the ferry again. So it's a continuous operation. Next slide, please. Just real quick, just talk a little bit about all the different projects that we have ongoing in the Houston district already. Everybody is aware of the 290 corridor. Everybody's very familiar with the 290 corridor. And I think we are at the point we can finally say that we are at the end of the tunnel. And all the main links are opened. We're still working on some work on State Highway 6 and some other cleanup type work and grinding and grooving type work that we still have ongoing to finish up the corridor. The next project, which is related to the 290 project, is something that's in the planning horizon, the Hempstead Highway. And that's actually divided into 2 different projects. The first one is from 610 to like Beltway 8, and the next segment, the second job, is from Beltway 8 to 290. And this has always been a corridor that the environmental for this project was done concurrent with the 290 construction. So the 2 corridors were supposed to go hand in hand. The tolling was supposed to go in the Hempstead Highway portion of the project after we built 290 to meet the capacity needs. And as everybody probably also know that the commission, the administration, the legislatures, they're very sensitive about toll, anything that is building a tollway currently. So what we have done is reshuffle this job to make it non-toll. We're going to try and build it as a non-toll project. And what we're trying to execute is really the piece that is outside from Beltway 8 to State Highway 99 first, because that area is all brand new location. You know, right now, if we don't go out there and start buying some of the right of way and all that, the development is going to come in, and then we're not going to be able to do that when we are actually totally ready to do it. So we're thinking about starting that project and trying to get some of the right of way acquired and then start building that piece of it. And then the piece that is inside, what we're doing is we are reshuffling the footprint to kind of make it more of a double decker. We presented our original idea to City of Houston as a falling on the Hempstead and adding some additional managed lane on Hempstead and kind of spread out the footprint. And City of Houston is not very excited about that idea. You know, they think we are taking too much of a footprint. So we have since then went back and we looked at the footprint and think we can do it with a reduced footprint in that corridor and still be able to add the 2 managed lane by kind of double decking it a little bit in that corridor. So that's the Hempstead lane, which is something that's coming up in the future. The Grand Parkway A to I-2, everybody knows that F&G and H&I are ongoing right now. F&G is complete, H&I is under construction right now on the east side, and we are making good progress over there. Continuously do that. The biggest discussion now on the 290 is really on segment B, which is the portion on the southeast corner over there between I-45 South and 288. And also for the segment from 288 west to where we currently ends on the Fort Bend side. So there's some discussion about both of those. Well, in fact, there's actually a lot of discussion about those 2 pieces of Grand Parkway. We've been talking with City of Alvin, with Pearland, with Galveston County on the piece that is from 45 to the current 35 footprint over there in Pearland, and trying to get it down south to just south of Alvin. I think I can't remember the name of the FM road down there, but we're trying to get it to the south of Alvin. It's the first half. And then from the south of Alvin to 288 is the next piece of segment B that we're trying to look at. So we're currently doing the TNR study to try and make sure that it's toll viable. That is the segment that we are going to continue to do it as a toll road. And as everybody remember, there was a lot of local input to the highway commissioner during the last UTP update to try and include this project in the current UTP, which is going to be approved probably today. They're going to talk about it in the discussion today and approve it next month. So that's the segment on Grand Parkway. I-45 North Freeway Corridor, that is the I-45 NHXIP project. We're currently doing active procurement. There's one piece on 59, which is a design bid build piece that is from Montrose to the Spur. That piece, we're doing it in-house, and we're continuing working on the PS&E plant and all that to get that one progressed and led in 2021, 2022 timeframe. And the rest of the I-45 design build, we are currently progressing it, doing the RFQ, and we're tweaking some of the things that we're doing on the 45, but that's still under discussion. We're working on different pieces of it and looking at progressing, but that work is ongoing. The other effort that has a lot of public attention on that project is the City of Houston Facilitation Group that we have been working with to try and resolve some of the issues and comments that people brought up. And most of those comments are really actually on segment 1 and 2, which is the piece from I-10 to Beltway 8. The current RFQ, what we're working on is segment 3, which is the downtown piece. That is from the Spur all the way to I-10. So that piece, we have some comments from the public, but most of the comments is not something that we can address. We think we can address the majority of the comments in segment 3. Segment 2 and segment 1's comments will actually require a little bit more extensive study, additional traffic studies, additional coordination with the public to try and get those 2 pieces progressed further. So enough of that, and I'll take some questions on that if somebody else have questions afterwards. 288 corridor, that is a toll road. That's the concession job that we're currently building in conjunction with Brazoria County. Brazoria County is building the piece south. We are building the piece from the county line into downtown, and that project is getting very close to ready to be opened, the tollway portion of it. Everybody knows there's still a lot of work out there. If you drive by that corridor, you can see there's still quite a bit of work that has to go in, overhead sign structures. There's some bridges that need to be finished, some DC connectors that has to get done and all that. So, but the tentative opening day right now, they're looking at October, November type or end of the year timeframe to have that tollway open in that corridor. And we'll finish up the rest of the work that doesn't affect the tollway. So the next couple of jobs that was on the list, 69, one of the biggest one, the one on 59, 69 Southwest Freeway that's in the Fort Bend County area. We're going to talk about it a little bit further down in a project in Fort Bend. These are the 59 projects that if you live in Fort Bend County, I don't think you can avoid them. They've been under construction for a little while, and we are trying very hard to get those projects progress and get it to the point that we can finish them. The eighth one on the list, 610 West Loop at 59 Interchange, that is the project we're currently working on in the gallery area. Everybody drive by. You can see that work going in the gallery area, and we're making extremely good progress in that project. We're actually trying to take advantage of some of this light traffic volume during the COVID environment to try and do a lot of heavy lifting of doing the major closures on the freeway. When I say major closures, which means total closure on 610 or total closure on 59, in order for us to be able to do some of the girders, do some of the bridge work in that corridor. So there's a lot of work happening during the weekend on that project and during the week too, but the big closures are happening on the weekend to try and get that project progress. And in conjunction with that project, that the north piece, the bus lane, that we have a portion of it, that we built the piece from Post Oak to close to the Northwest Transit Center, not quite Transit Center. That project is finished, it's complete. And I think Metro is getting ready to open up that big bus lane sometime in August, next month, very soon. So 249 corridor, that's the other one. That's a design build project that we're working on currently in construction between where it ends over there on the drawing to Grimes County line. The first piece of that project is actually essentially complete, and we are very, very close to opening that. We are actually going to open it early in August, very early in August for that segment, for that very first piece of 249. And then the next piece, they're building the next piece, and also the piece that is actually in Grimes County also. So they're starting that work over there. I-10 State Highway 6 to the Brazos River, that is the one on the west side of town that we are trying to add a main lane in the middle to ease some of the traffic that's going out of town on Friday night, Sunday afternoon, when everybody's coming back into town or leaving town. The traffic in that area is getting really heavy. So we're progressing with that job. There's a lot of work being done. And we are also trying to get that work finished as soon as possible. Number 11, the State Highway 35 is a new project that's being proposed. And the project is actually going to go from Spur 5 over there by U of H, which Delvin might remember that he actually built that stub-out piece over there at the Spur when he was doing that job long time ago. And now we are finally actually going to tie into that piece and take the Spur take 35 down from there to 610. So the first piece of the project is from there to 610. It's in new location. It's kind of following close to following the Makawa footprint. And we're also building some DCs over there at 610 to carry the traffic from there to 610. So people will be able to go from 45 to 610, take that into U of H or from U of H down. But the eventual purpose of that is to take it all the way down to Alvin. For the 35 is to extend that piece in a new location all the way down to Alvin. So it will tie into Alvin. And then also when we finally build the State Highway 99 in that segment there in Alvin, it will be a good corridor to connect everything and have that connectivity. And it's also can serve as another evacuation route for the people on the southeast side of town. If we have a hurricane that they need to evacuate, there's an alternate route to get everybody out of that region also. So next slide, please. So all these projects, and there are a couple more new ones that I can talk about too, that we're looking at, which is not on the list. One of the projects that you all probably heard about is the I-10 at San Jacinto River. That segment over there on I-10 was hit by barges several times, a couple of times, and we have extensive damage to the columns of that bridge that actually require us to shut down I-10 for a period of time until we get the repair done. So this new project is actually trying to look into building a bigger bridge that actually span across the channel, or at a minimum have columns and foundations that can withstand barge hits. You know, build the columns and cap extensive enough and with protection that we can take some of the barge hit. So we're looking at that project is in the work over there on the I-10 on the east side. It's very important for Beaumont, Chambers County, and all the truck traffic that is going that route. The other project that is on the list is on I-10 between downtown and Studemont. That is a section of I-10 freeway over there that during the last couple of heavy flood, it was underwater every single time. So when we did the hydraulic analysis of segment 3, we find out that that segment of I-10 is actually in the floodplain. So there's a new project that we're looking at is to raise the entire freeway over there in that little piece over there. But then there's also another project to the west of that that goes from Studemont to 610, which we call the Inner Katy, which Metro is wanting to put a dedicated bus lane in that corridor between the Northwest Transit Center to downtown. So we have a project that we are planning on doing is adding some managed lane in that same stretch of the freeway on I-10 over there. As you know, the toll lane that comes in from I-10 out, way out on the west, stops at 610. It doesn't continue further into downtown. So what we're looking at is trying to add some managed lane that goes all the way to I-10 that will continue. It's not going to be tolled, probably, you know, at this time, I'm going to say it's not going to be, definitely not going to be tolled. But we'll work on that piece, and that piece will tie into this little piece that we're going to raise. And also at the same time, it will tie into the segment 3 of the I-45 NHHIP. So there's a little piece over there that we have to add to the project. Some of the other jobs that we are also looking at is segment 1 of the I-45. Everybody know that segment is not funded yet. So we're currently looking at that. There's another project that is on 610 South Loop between 288 and 45 South that we are looking at redoing that segment of the freeway. We're looking at redoing a bridge over there And when we start looking at redoing the bridge is is a really long bridge that it actually extends, and then it stretches to the next bridge, which is also in very close proximity. In order for us to meet all the current standards, when we raise the bridge, it's kind of like we just start dominoing from one area to the next. So we're looking at redoing the whole segment between 288 and 45, which is a very old piece of 610 over there in the corridor that we have never touched before. Part of that, if somebody is familiar with the area, doesn't even have continuous frontage road. There's a little piece over there that doesn't have continuous frontage road. So we're looking at working on that also. So that's some of the other work that we're looking at progressing. So where can you find all the project information of all these projects? The 2020 UTP contain a lot of some of these projects that TxDOT is currently looking at doing for the entire state. The UTP actually only include projects that is in category 2, 4, and 12. 4 is our mobility project. 12 is the commission strategic money, and also the clearing money, projects money, is 2, 4, and 12. So if you look at the 2020 UTP, you'll be able to see a list of these projects that I talk about in Houston area. And if you want to look at all the other projects that is in all the other categories, you can actually look in Project Tracker. Project Tracker is what TxDOT has to track every single project that we have, that we're working on. And it has the current status, the latest information that we have on every single one of the project that we have. So if anybody's interested, those are the 2 locations where they can go in and look at a list of the project and some of the description. And the UTP is currently online also. You can look at it online. Next. I'm not going to go through all that. I actually already go through quite a lot of these projects. We'll make the slides available to everybody that is attending today. These are some of the projects. The brown one is the one that is currently under construction. These are all the projects that is funded by Texas Clearlink and also some other funding categories. But majority, the biggest part of it is Texas Clearlink. So the brown projects on their orange, you call it, are the ones that is under construction already. For example, the West Loop, I-10 out west, the Cambridge project over there on 288 and 610, down south over there where we're building a connector to Texas Medical Center. We have 2 other projects on 45 South. 45 South is a corridor that we're trying to construct completely all the way down to Galveston to 61st Street. So we have projects that goes all the way down to 61st Street. Currently, we are building up to about 519, FM 519 area. So that's some of the projects. And the blue projects are the one that is already currently funded, but it's not under construction yet. So you can see a very big part of it is segment 3 and segment 2, and that 159 project, the number 7 in-house project on the I-45 project. And number 8 on that list is the State Highway 35 that I just talked about, the one that goes from the spur down to 610. So all those projects are funded, and we are working towards progressing them to letting or awarding to the design build contractor for all those projects. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is just talking about a list of all the other projects and some other project that we have on FM 2100, State Highway 242, State Highway 36, which is in Fort Bend County. 36 is the corridor that we are going to have it all being constructed from Port Freeport all the way to Rosenberg. And also there's a project that actually goes north of that also, that's upcoming. So some of it are currently in construction, some of it are in the form of getting ready to be let. Some of them are we're still designing and getting it ready to let. The last one on the list is the 45 South that I talk about, the corridor. Right now, currently, it's 517 to 1764, but we have project that is working on that goes all the way to 61st Street in Galveston. So it typically, what this is really showing, our current letting volume is 916 million in fiscal year 2019. And in 2020, it's $1.1 billion. And these dollars does not include the design build effort. These are just our design bid build dollar numbers. So next slide, please. Okay, I just want to change gear a little bit, talk to everybody about safety. You know, safety is our highest priority in TxDOT. Next slide, please. And during COVID-19, what TxDOT has done, we have changed a little bit of what we are doing. You know, when it first hit us, what we did was we sent all the office people home. You know, everybody that is in design, that was doing bookkeeping, all the administrative person, 99.9% of all our office people get sent home. You know, I haven't seen James Koch. He's my TP&D director, and he has been working at home since COVID started. So, but what we have done is also we have kept our field people and our maintenance personnel still in the office, but asking them to change what we're doing to practice social distance. We issue everybody with masks, cloth masks, and disposable masks. We issue everybody with the gloves that they need to use, if sanitizing solutions and all that. We provide all the employees with whatever tools that they need or equipment that they need to try and practice social distance and try and do their job while they're out there coordinating with the public. So we typically, Delvin knows that we have our morning meeting with the maintenance people in the morning as a group. When they get together, they talk about, they do their safety, they have their safety meeting, and they distribute the work out to the maintenance personnel for the day's assigned tasks. So what we have asked them to do is have each crew leader take each of the crew individually, and we're doing a lot of these things outside. We have outdoor, the area office have some outdoor area. So we're doing a lot of these type of assignment in small groups outside so that everybody can practice their social distance and still be able to do what we need to do. The other thing that we have done is I mentioned it a little bit, we have made use of the lighter traffic earlier on during the COVID environment and allow the contractors to have longer duration of closure. Typically our closure is 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. and we're stretching those hours out like a couple of hours. Maybe we let them start at 7 or 8 o'clock and then let them finish up 6 or 7 a.m. instead of 5 a.m., you know, like the night work that they typically do. And on some of the lower volume roadway, we'll actually allow them to do some daytime closure, you know, to get the work done. So we were able to do some of that to try and help progress the project during the COVID environment, but at the same time doesn't affect our employees and our contractors on what they're doing. We are continuing to monitor that. And then we started open up the office to about 10% of the employee to come back into the office to do the work. When during the earlier phases, before May, when it started getting bad again, we're opening the office back up to about 10% people when everybody was opening it up. And we were hovering between 10 and 25%. And lately we pretty much dropped back to about 10% of the people is at the office. So I myself work a couple of days in the office and work a couple of days at home and try and rotate it with my deputy. So him and I rotated, so we'll have somebody at the office if anything important hit that we need to take care of. So that's kind of sort of how we have been dealing with COVID. The next slide, please. Okay, Commissioner Ryan is our champion on this promoting safety in Texas. And these are just some of the statistics that I just want to read to everybody real quick. 3,641 people lost their life in highway in 2018. 10 people were killed per day on average. 1 person killed every 2 hours, 24 minutes. 1 person was injured every 2 minutes, 7 seconds. And 1 reportable crash every 58 seconds. You know, since November 7, 2000, that's the last day that we don't have a fatality on our Texas roadway. So this slide is old, so the 7,163 days may not be correct, but it has been a long time since our freeway doesn't have any fatality on our roadway. And we were kind of hoping during the COVID we were able to do that, but unfortunately we were not able to break that streak. So these are really staggering statistics. You know, these statistics are really horrible to the point that nobody should be willing to accept these statistics. So go next slide, please. So what we have found out during the COVID also, most of the crashes are actually preventable. Most of the crashes that happens on our roadway are due to drunkenness, they're due to distracted driving, they're due to failure to wear seatbelt. And TxDOT have the Click It or Ticket campaign for a long time, for about 15 years now. And we have been successful to increase the percentage of the people wearing seatbelt from about 40% back in those days to about 80-something%. Currently, about 80-something% of the people are wearing seatbelt whenever they're out driving, but that's still not enough. You know, we need to get it to 100% because seatbelt does save life. And we have a lot of examples with our law enforcement, with our incident managed people that have, with our health care department that have proven that seatbelt actually will save life. You know, if you are in a rollover accident, the seatbelt, what can make a difference between life and death. So here's what I want everybody in this meeting to do and to help us spread the word to tell everybody, buckle up. You know, seatbelt is your first line of defense. The second is drive the speed limit or drive slower, depend on the road condition. You know, we have rain currently a couple of days ago. So during the rain event, you might need to slow a little bit more further down on your speed too. And that's something that we find out during this COVID environment. The people are driving extremely fast. There are people out there on the roadway that are picking up speed because there's less people on the roadway. So that's something we really have to watch out for. Never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. That's a real no-no, especially nowadays with Uber and Lyft and everything, all the amenities that is at our finger with the cell phone. You can really get any form of transportation you want. There's no reason why anybody should be driving drunk. And the last thing, you know, that I just pick up my phone is to put your phone away when you're driving. That is one of the policy that TxDOT require all our employees to do. When you're driving, whether it's in your own vehicle or in your personal vehicle, you have to put your phone away. You know, there's no texting, there's no answering the phone, there's no any of that when you are driving. So because you want your mind to be 100% concentrated on driving. So what are we TxDOT are doing to also try and help the situation? We try and engineer every single road to be more forgiving, you know, and that's why some of the meeting the federal highway design standard, meeting the degree of curve, meeting the merge distance, meeting some of the blind spots are so important when we are designing and redoing our highway. Using roadside rumble stripes to alert driver, using flashing wrong way sign to try and tell everybody don't drive the wrong way. using electronic sign to alert the drivers of upcoming construction, and use driver education campaigns to give driver a safety reminder. So together we can end the streak. That's a logo that Commissioner Ryan and TxDOT come up with, but we need everybody's help to do that, to achieve that. Next slide, please. There's also another campaign that we're currently trying to do, is what we are called to Road to Zero. The Commission has passed a minute order in May 2019, and I call this a goal for TxDOT minute order. It's the goal for TxDOT to reduce the fatality by half in the year 2013, and to get it all the way down to zero by the year 2050. So I think President Trump yesterday at Midlands, he was giving a speech, and he said that they're going to try and promote the oil industries, and he's predicting the oil industry is going to be good all the way till 2050. So I'm doing it differently here. I'm going to try and advocate that we're going to promote our Road to Zero campaign to the year 2050, and we're going to try and get the numbers of death down to zero by the year 2050. So these are two of the big safety campaigns that TxDOT is definitely pushing, and I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that, and we can go into the next discussion. The next couple of slides, please. So what I'm going to go into is some of the current projects that is in Fort Bend County, and some of the future projects and upcoming funded and unfunded project in Fort Bend County. I'll try and go through them pretty quick. I think I've gone on pretty long over here. And I'll provide you with these slides, and if anybody is interested on any of those projects specifically, I can have more discussion with you all, and have Grady, our area engineer, discuss them with you too. So next slides, please. So, next one. So the first two jobs that I wanted to just quickly touch base on is the US 290 project over there. These are two underpasses, currently underpasses, that we are replacing with an overpass, with bridges. So the first one was actually led in January 2017, and the second one is led in September 2017, the one over there at Spur. But I think, unfortunately, we're going to get the second one, the one at the Spur, finished much earlier than the one west of Link Drive, which is the one between Rosenberg and the other city south of it. So the reason for that is we encounter quite a lot of issues on that project. We have a railroad agreement that we have to relook at on some of that situation over there, and we got some drainage issue and utility issues that we have to work out on that first project. So Grady is working very hard to try and get all the items resolved on that first one, so that we can quickly finish that project. Next slide, please. The next two slides actually talk about the I-69 project that goes from really FM 2759 all the way to the Wharton County line. There's actually 4 different projects in that corridor that was led at different time period. Some of them were led in 2014. Some of them, the next slide will show some of them that's led in 2015. The two further south was led in 2015 and 2016. And we have also encountered a lot of right-of-way and utility, and also specifically, we got some phase changes when we are trying to coordinate one project with the next project that has prevented some of the work from being progressed efficiently as we like it to be. So Grady is working on a lot of those issues to try and get them ironed out. So you will see different segments of this 59 being completed and open up earlier than other segments of it. So It may or may not be completely from north to south or from south to north, but we are working, trying to do it logically to try and open up and finish the project. And it's going to be open in some of it by late this year, and the other ones will be open by late next year. So that's some of the projects on 59 that I think all of you are familiar with. Next 2 slides. You can skip that one. Okay, the next project that's ongoing is on State Highway 36 over there. The first 2 projects that goes from Light Peak to Neatville, from north of 2218 to south of Neatville, and the second one is from Neatville down to the Brazoria County line. So what you're doing is we are reconstructing the 4-lane roadway to add shoulders. This is a evacuation lane. This has always been an evacuation lane. The shoulders was for the Brazoria County people to get to the west side of town to get out during a hurricane. So these projects were led in February 2020, early this year, and they were scheduled to finish sometime in 2022 and the spring of 2024 for the longer one. The first one is a longer project, and the second one is the next segment. Next slide, please. There's also a project over there on FM 2218 from 36 to 69. We're widening that segment from 2 to 4 lane, and it's getting to be a really busy roadway over there. So this is much needed. It was this project just let in June. It's for $43 million, and we're going to try and get it done as soon as possible and hopefully open up before 2024. So the next project on Highway 6 from Lexington Boulevard to Brooks. This is a project that is actually kind of right in the middle of Sugar Land in the city. It's a very busy roadway. Currently it's 6 lane, and we're widening it to 8 lane. We're working on, the primary work right now is completing the main lane and then completing some of the intersections at FM, continually some of the intersection work to try and get it progress also. So next slide, please. 2 other projects. One is 762 at Crab River Road. This is a segment over there. It's a 2-lane asphalt road. We're reconstructing it to 4-lane over there in front of the school, to the school complex over there. So this job was led in 2018, and we should be finishing it soon in early 2021. Most of the job is complete, and we're just working on a lot of minor stuff, the intersection work, to try and get it finished. The next one is I-10 at the Brazos River, which we talked about earlier already. So the completion date of that project is June 2023 currently. It was let earlier, so it's taking a while because it's a pretty long segment of I-10 over there that we are working on currently. Okay, next slide, please. So what do we have on the planning horizon? Just quickly, next slide. Want to go into a little bit about State Highway 36A, which has been in discussion for a little while, and then it got stalled a little bit, and then I think we are starting to look at that job again currently. So the project is really a north-south corridor that is taking from 59 to 290. So it's kind of like another parallel route besides State Highway 99, that we can carry the traffic from 59 south in the area to eventually to 290 and to Hempstead Highway 6. So next slide, please. So what we're looking at currently doing is splitting the corridor into 2 separate projects. The first piece is the Southton project that will take it from like State Highway 36 on the southwest side of Rosenberg to I-10. And the next segment is going to be from I-10 to Highway 6 or 290 out there in the 290 corridor. So we're gathering information for each of those pieces. We'll be working on both pieces together, but we're trying to split it up because the issues in the two different areas are different. You know, as you know, the environmental issues in the different segments are totally different from each other. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, just want to go through it. When we were looking at a corridor, a brand new corridor like this, there's a lot of things that we have to consider, especially in this. And on this slide are some of the things that we have to take into consideration, like the Brazos River floodplain, the Cypress Creek area drainage area. There's also talk of a third reservoir in this area. There's another BRA Allen's Creek Reservoir. There's also the Katy Perry and KPC lands over in this area. There's some school, there's some historical sites, there's some EJ communities over there. So these are a lot of the items that we have to look at and consider whenever we look at a whole new alignment for a roadway that we're trying to propose in the area. So next slide, please. So this effort is ongoing right now. What we're doing is we're pre-scoping some of this stuff with elected officials and the local stakeholders. We are also pre-scoping some of the joint evaluation meeting with the Army Corps of Engineers. Also, I mean, they are definitely a stakeholder over there. And some other resources agencies like Parks and Wildlife and all that. And then we're looking into the notice of intent, and then we'll invite participation agencies, inviting the public to look into the project and give us comments on where they think the alignment is, where they think the issues is on this project. So we're starting that preliminary process to do the scoping meeting, to do public hearings and public meetings. So it's very early on, but we're starting that environmental process so we can get to the point. Number one, we will know where the alignment is going to go and what type of roadway is needed for this corridor. And before we can progress to the next stage of this 36A. So next slide, please. Just very, next one. Just very quickly, I want to just very briefly go over some of the project that is funded, that's already funded in the Fort Bend area. The first one is FM 723, really is from 1093 all the way to Brazos River. It's split up into two jobs. And this is a project that we're going to try and raise the roadway a little bit in this segment to try and provide an evacuation roadway during emergency event also. So part of the project is to rebuild and widen the road, but at the same time, we're also raising a section of it that was in the floodplain so that it can serve as an evacuation route. The next two projects on State Highway 99 are the two southbound frontage road pieces between FM 1093 and South Fry Road, and also between West Hammer Parkway and Cinco Ranch over there by State Highway 99. These are the projects that was done in coordination with Fort Bend County. Fort Bend County are the one that is interested in doing these frontage road projects. So we're working with them to get them progressed. The next one is State Highway 99 from 1093 all the way to the Harris County line. This is a main lane project that we're going to be working on and trying to add a lane to the State Highway 99 within those limits. There's also a project on 521 from State Highway 6 to 2234, which is McCart Road. That area over there between Pearland and Fort Bend has been developed. There's a lot of development in the area. So we just finished, we have a job currently in construction on the north of that area from like Beltway 8 to 2234. And this segment carries it further down south. And on later on, there's another job that even further taking it further south to County Road 56 down there, but that one is not funded yet. But this segment from Highway 6 to 2234 is funded. The other project that is funded is FM 1463. That goes from I-10 all the way to 1093. And this segment is also split into two segments of the project. And if you ask anybody that lives around in that area, that project is much needed. I was reminded by Bill Brutnick when he was here at the TP&D, he said that project is much needed, and because he drives it almost every day. But then now he moved to Austin, so I told him that he don't have to worry about his 1463 project anymore, but we're still taking care of it for him. So the last project is US 98 at State Highway 99. This is going to be a bridge that was kind of not included originally in the project call. So this bridge was added as kind of like a gap project to be funded, to be funded in this area to be done on 98 and 99 to complete that corridor. Next slide, please. Can you skip the next couple of slides to the unfunded project? Those are just a little bit detail of all the projects that I already talked about it. So y'all can look at that. Next slide, please. So this is a list of some of the projects that we are working on in Fort Bend County, but it's currently unfunded. It's still unfunded, but we're working on it. The first project is I-69 at Brazos River. This is the one during the last flood that we have the U-turn damaged over there. We have to shut the U-turn down over there at 69 at the Brazos River. So we have been working with some consultants and also in-house to try and figure out what we need to do there. The issues over there is the Brazos River is actually moving. It's meandering and is shifting. And we have looked at, we've hired somebody that, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers was also part of the study of the Brazos River. They've studied the river and they have investigated and they have looked at how the river has moved through the years. And we actually come to the conclusion here that we would need to lengthen the bridge, the current bridge that is over there, even though it's a pretty new bridge, it wasn't very old. But in order to accommodate for what the river is doing and shifting in the near future and also in the long-term future, we decided that we'll need to lengthen that bridge. So this is a long-term project. This is not something that's going to happen overnight, but we're looking at that. And unfortunately, that U-turn, we're not going to be able to get it back very soon. It will take a little while before we can look at putting that U-turn back. So that's that project over there. The second project is State Highway 99 from the Brazoria County line to FM 762. So this is the piece that is in Fort Bend County of State Highway 99, which we're currently talking with Fort Bend and Fort Bend Toll Authority to try and investigate, to look at the feasibility of this piece. And also Fort Bend has primacy right now. So we'll all work together, but they have to make the determination of whether they are wanting to still keep primacy for that project or they want to give it to TxDOT for TxDOT to do that piece. So that discussion is ongoing. It's not funded, but we're working with them on that too. Some of the project, FM 359 from 1093 to Mason Road. This is also a pretty busy segment and it's a needed piece of connection that we need to do over there. So we're looking at widening that, but it's currently not funded. The other project is also on 2977 from FM 762 to FM 361. This is a piece that goes south from 762 south to 361. Right now, currently, it's kind of narrow two-lane roadway, that it needs to be widened to a four-lane roadway because of the development and because of the traffic that is going in the area. So the last one, and I see there's a repeat on those two, but the last one is the 521 project that I talked about earlier that goes from State Highway 6 to County Road 56. So this will be the extension of the one that is currently funded that goes from McCart to Highway 6. And this is the extension of that takes it down from Highway 6 to County Road 56. So I think that gets me to the end of my slides. The last couple of slides really is just some more detailed information of what I just talked about. So thanks everybody for your patience, for going through a long presentation with a lot of projects and all that. So I'm open. David, I'm turning it back to you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Paul. I appreciate all the great information that you provided us today. And we've got a number of questions that have come in on the chat box that we can ask of you, but I do want to make a comment. I know that Bill Brudnick was very interested in some improvements there on the west side. I-10 was always close to his heart, or Grand Parkway and I-10 area, because he used that. But you might want to check with Grady Mapes. Grady, I think, lives out in that area too, and the 1463 project is probably pretty close to his house. So
yes, definitely. Yeah, I mean, Grady, I have a little competition with Bill Brudnick. You see, he always won projects on the west side, and I live in Clear Lake, so I always want project on the south side. So, but believe us, we do a very good balance. We look at the area and we determine where it's needed and put the money where it is. You know, there's a friendly competition, but it's all good.
It's all in the interest of the region, the state, and the citizens that are here. Although Mr. Dennis may have at one time accelerated the improvements up the 59 corridor.
Yeah. Well, and then you're going to benefit now. James Koch
tried.
James Koch also lives on the west side.
Yes, he
does.
He
lives out there on I-10 West in the Katy. So y'all have a good advocate over there.
James has been doing all his work from home stuff, as have I, so I haven't had to suffer with trying to get through the 610-59 interchange and the construction that's going on there that lots of folks have. In the COVID era now, sales tax revenues have been down. You see the reports that the comptroller is putting out, and what do you anticipate the impact will be on TxDOT's overall budget that's coming up that the legislature is going to have to deal with?
Yeah, that's a interesting question, and that's a question that all of us want to know, and I do too. But the real answer really is, I mean, everybody's looking at what the next legislative session is going to bring to us. But I can assure everybody that, our UTP and it's a 10-year program. And our 4-year program is also, I mean, we put all our projects, we actually TxDOT have a 25-year plan. We have projects already lined out all the way out to 25 years. And then we kind of refine them to the 10-year, which we call the UTP. And then with the 10-year, we're trying to get every project funded, and we progressed it and start designing it, start doing the environmental, start getting the right-of-way board, start getting the utilities done, doing all that to progress the project to get it ready to letting, and we move it into the 4-year, and then eventually into the 2-year letting. When you get into the 2-year, you are definitely let. So a lot of the projects in the 4-year and the 10-year, like what I was trying to show you when it say funded, there's already money allocated to all those projects, with the current funding and everything. So we may have to manage cash flow a little bit, but those project is already funded. It's in the book, and we just have to progress it and get it out the door to let. So what I'm trying to say is in the short term, I don't think TxDOT is going to be affected by COVID or anything that's going on, because we plan long term. You know, our plan is not just this year or next year. You know, I mean, we're letting the 2 years, but we already plan projects for the next 5, 10 years, you know, and we even have projects in the 25 years range. And so we're going to continuously progress all these projects, and the projects that's in the 25 years range, it's going to move into the 10, and the 10 is going to move into the 4, and the 4 is going to move into the 2. We're continually progressing. I think the unknown that we're not going to know is the project that is further out. Okay, the projects that further out in the funnel, if there truly is a reduction in the funding that is going to coming, I think those projects are not going to be not done, but they just might be delayed. Is what I'm going to say. They're still in the book to be done. They may not be done in 2025, but they're going to be done in 2026 or something, based on the cash flow and everything that we have. I think that's the best thing I can do to answer that question at this point in time.
That's all. That is a very good answer, and you know that it's really out of your hands. It's a legislative issue. What do we get? Where you look at where the TxDOT monies come from, whether it's the portion of the state sales tax that they get, or it's the fuel tax. Those things are beyond your control, and you'll just work primarily with what you're given, and continue to push projects to get them in the pipeline and be available as those funding opportunities come up.
And whenever I talk to any politicians, I tell them, make sure they don't take any money from TxDOT.
And again, on the COVID thing, we've seen, you were talking about changes you've made for safety procedures for your team there. Do you see any of that might, some of those issues that, hey, you know, this is working well for us, maybe we should continue this post-COVID, or those going to be some more permanent type modifications to the plant, to how things are done?
But very much so. I can anticipate that everything that we do is going to change a lot from now on. You know, including what we're doing currently, the telework, having meeting virtually, you know, wearing the face mask and all that. All our employees are required to wear the face mask, you know, if they cannot practice social distancing. You know, if they can stay 6 foot away, you know, I told them, if you want to take your mask off, go run off to a corner, and you can do that, and take a couple of quick breaths, and then you'll come back in and put your mask back on. I can see, I don't know when that post-COVID time will be. You know, I know they're all trying to get the vaccine, but it may or may not be available to everybody. And it's kind of, I mean, eventually we may try and treat it like a common flu. You know, it's something that is in the community. It's something that we have to live with. And then we just have to learn to practice social distance, you know, do our thing, and not be in the face of somebody, which is not what we should be doing anyway. Right. You know. And I don't know if shake hands will go away. I'm a hugger myself. You know, when I see somebody, I hug them. So that's going to be a little bit difficult, you know, to change that. I haven't hugged anybody for a long time, not even my husband. I told him stay away, you know. But I mean, a lot of things, especially on the telecommuting, I can see that I will have I mean, Houston's pretty conservative, so we haven't been really practicing telecommuting very much. I've been before pre-COVID, you know. So when COVID hits, we were lucky that a couple of years back that they have changed all our computers to laptop. So we were ready to go when it hit. We can immediately tell everybody take the laptop home, and so the equipment is there. Not like some other agency, they were still using desktop, so make it more difficult to do that. So we were actually ready to implement that. And overnight, we changed from maybe 1 or 2% of the people teleworking to 50% of the people teleworking. You know, because I still have my field crew and maintenance crew and all that. And it's working very good, surprisingly. I mean, I'm not a advocate for it, but surprisingly, I was pleasantly surprised how good it works, you know, with this virtual meeting and all that. And I think that kind of things is definitely going to change. It's going to change how everybody does work, I think, in the future.
And it has worked well for us. Telecommuting, some of your multimodal partners, particularly Metro, a lot of your talk, obviously you're talking about the state highways, but just widening highways won't fix all of our commuting problems. Have you had, how much interaction are you all having with Metro and looking at partnership to do multimodal solutions to our transportation needs? You've mentioned NHHIP as someone that's working with you on that. I know about the Max Lane extension where we're going to have significantly more capacity for our transit options, our transit routes that go through that corridor. The inner Katy corridor connecting to the Katy Freeway improvements outside of 610. Are there any other areas where we're working in more of a multimodal fashion?
Yes, yes. We have been working with Metro extensively. You know, in fact, James come back, one of his functions, James and his people actually are having regular coordination meetings with Metro. And they're also having special meetings just for the inner Katy connector. The other corridor, which I did not mention, is we have been talking with Metro on the 59 corridor between downtown and 610. What Metro wants to do is convert that one lane HOV to a two-way HOV. You know, right there between Greenway Plaza, Atlo, and all that. Yes. They want to convert that from a right now it's a reversible HOV. They want to convert that into a 24-hour bi-direction HOV. So I mean transit lane. So we have been talking to Metro a lot about that. Also, we've been talking with them on the State Highway 35 job also, because over there by 610 Griggs Road, Metro have a yacht over there, and they have a future route that they were going to build a light rail that takes them to Hobby and all that. So there are some Metro issues over there also that we've been talking to Metro and City of Houston and the railroad on that project specifically. So, and of course on I-45 and inner Katy and on I-45, the connector that goes from I-10 that goes to downtown, the dedicated connector. We have a lot of discussion with them on that too. We've been talking with them on that issue. So we have also been talking to them on some of their right-of-way issues, because some of the footprint of 45 actually on top of some of the Metro right-of-way. So there's some discussion on that. So we actually have ongoing discussion with Metro on different issues. And we're actually going to be more extensively talking to them on I-45 also. You know, we haven't had a lot of detailed discussion because Metro has a plan on Metro next, but it's not very detailed. So we're trying to work with them and trying to make sure that we get some of the details worked out. We talked to them on the 59 at Wheeler Station extensively. Yes. You know, the where the light rail crosses 59 over there in that area. So we have ongoing discussion with them about that corridor also. So we actually have a standing meeting with Metro monthly, I think James got, on top of all these individual meetings that we have with them. So The answer is yes.
Yep, thank you very much. And I encourage all of my neighbors out here in Fort Bend County to get involved. When they were doing or are doing the Pell study there along 59 from the Beltway into downtown, I was encouraging folks out here in Sugar Land, just because TxDOT didn't hold any meetings out here, what happens on 59 is of huge importance to myself or to Rick or Tricia, Tom, people that I see that are online that all go in the Southwest Freeway corridor, to make sure that we get in there and voice our opinions about what needs to happen or where we see the challenges along there and potential improvements. So everyone, regardless of where you live, continue to stay connected. We should all be connected as transportation professionals that are here listening to you. We should all participate in that, as put our citizens hat on and participate as citizens also. Eliza, I'd like to thank you very much for all of your insights. We need to go on and wrap up. We'll send further questions from the chat to you. Perhaps you and Raquel can send out some quick answers to that. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Aguirre & Fields, Costello Inc., Othon Engineering, Delvin, and Transsystems Corporation. The Infrastructure Planning Division is excited and announced that the 2020 Infrastructure Conference will be held on Thursday, October 29th from 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Information about this collaborative event between the Fort Bend Chamber, the Central Fort Bend Chamber, and the Fort Bend Economic Development Council is available on the Fort Bend website. We'll have a comprehensive series of presentations discussing water, development, emergency planning, transportation, energy, public policy, and much more. If you're interested in joining an upcoming chamber event, please check the chamber calendar at fortbendchamber.com for additional details and registration information. For those engineers that joined the webinar today, we can claim a professional development hour of credit, getting to hear from our friend, Miss Paul. Please email Ryan and he will send out a certificate to you in the coming days. I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance today. The recording of this webinar will be available within 48 hours on the Chamber website. And as Ms. Paul had indicated, she's willing to share her presentation with us so we can get the PDF of those slides also to share on that. Everyone stay safe, practice your social distancing, drive safely. Let's all remember those issues that Eliza talked about. Don't use our phones while we're driving. Put those down, focus on the road. Don't drive, drink and drive. If you have to, call Uber or anyone or Lyft and take care of that. But thank you all for attending today. Thank you, Ms. Paul, for taking the time to put together a presentation and make the presentation today. So with that, we're adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Eliza.